Hey guys, I'm Will.
Cilio,
EJ.
and we're here today to share with you our enjoyment from the Law Revival reading. And so,
Yeah, I don't really like this place though.
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, it's not so great. Many believers see the Lord through their own human-based emotional state. That's where they feel His love and His presence and His sweetness. But what many believers don't know is that the Lord has a vision. This vision is for us to see Him skipping over mountains and bounding over hills with relentless vigor and vitality. And that is His resurrection. For us to be able to see Him with this vision means to join Him in His resurrection. But to do that, we got to be put to death first.
Okay. How do I get here? Okay. Yeah. So from the reading, praise the Lord. We have to pass through death in order to experience Christ in His resurrection and see this vision of Him in His resurrection. And similar like Paul, Paul was very spiritual, but even he had to pass through death. And so he was put in prison. And in the same way, in our life, we're put in prison. It's like an uncomfortable situation. Paul was in prison, but that did not stop him from enjoying the Lord and applying the Lord in His resurrection. And in the same way, in our situations, our unideal, our not so ideal situations, our imprisonment, we have to apply the Lord in His resurrection in order to see Him as a young hart leaping from mountain to mountain. In the same way, the prison walls did not hinder the Lord in Paul's experience. In the same way, in our experience, our prison walls do not limit the Lord at all. And so in order to do this, we have to apply the Lord in His death and resurrection. And that is how we are conformed to the death of Christ. Praise the Lord.
Check it out. Anyway, from the reading, I really enjoyed that the cookie cutter analogy. And so the cookie cutter is Christ's death, and the dough is us. So we need to be conformed to the death of Christ. And so when we get conformed, we have to get everything other than the Lord cut out of us. So it's not just the bad things or simple things we do, but it's also our good natural nature, the good things we do. And so a perfect example of this in the Bible is Jesus. Jesus had the perfect humanity. Even if He wanted to sin, He couldn't sin. But He still went and got baptized. He was baptized to show that He's putting together His natural life and going to live God's life. And so we need to be the same way. And so the way the Lord does this is putting us in very particular situations. We all have specific ways we'd like to have our Christian life, reading the Bible every day, having an hour time with the Lord every morning, getting with the brothers every day, and just preaching the gospel. These are things that we probably don't have perfect practices of, and even though when we desire to do them, we don't do them. This is because the Lord arranges specific situations so we can be conformed to His death instead of our own natural living. Praise the Lord.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you for watching the video, and praise the Lord.
Amen.